It was a Tuesday, November 3rd, 1998, in Lakewood, Jacksonville, Florida. The kind of day that felt ordinary, almost forgettable, with nothing to hint at the tragedy about to unfold. The evening was warm, the neighborhood peaceful. The air was filled with the gentle hum of sprinklers and the distant sound of dogs barking, a typical suburban calm settling over the streets. Children played outside as the sun set, laughter echoing down the block. Parents chatted on porches, keeping a watchful but relaxed eye on their kids, trusting in the safety of their close-knit community. 8-year-old Maddie Clifton, a bright, beloved girl, was at the heart of it all. Her energy was infectious, her smile impossible to miss. She was the kind of child everyone knew, riding her bike, playing baseball, always smiling. Maddie was a fixture in the neighborhood, her laughter a familiar soundtrack to the end of every day. Her parents, Steve and Sheila, adored her. She was their only daughter, the center of their world, and their pride and joy. That evening, Maddie asked to play outside before dinner. Sheila agreed, expecting her back soon, as she always was. It was a routine as familiar as the setting sun, but as darkness fell, Maddie didn't return. The minutes stretched into an hour, and unease began to creep in. Sheila called for her, but there was no answer. Panic set in. The familiar comfort of home was suddenly replaced by a chilling sense of dread. The Cliftons searched the street, knocking on doors, calling friends. No one had seen Maddie. Neighbors joined in, their voices growing louder, more desperate with each unanswered call. The last sighting was around 5 o'clock. After that, it was as if Maddie had simply vanished into thin air. The neighborhood's sense of safety shattered instantly. People who had always felt secure now looked at each other with uncertainty and fear. Police were called. Patrol cars and flashing lights filled the street. Officers moved quickly, canvassing the area, but there were no immediate answers. News spread quickly. An 8-year-old girl had vanished from her own front yard. Reporters arrived, cameras rolling as the story gripped the city. The community's illusion of security evaporated, replaced by fear and confusion. Parents clutched their children a little tighter, and every shadow seemed to hold a new threat. Neighbors joined the search, but hope faded as hours passed. The once friendly streets now felt unfamiliar, haunted by worry and unanswered questions. The Cliftons' nightmare became a citywide crisis. Search parties fanned out, combing parks, yards, and wooded lots, desperate for any sign of Maddie. Maddie's disappearance was unthinkable, something that just didn't happen here. The playgrounds and sidewalks that once rang with laughter now stood eerily silent. The comforting rhythm of daily life was broken. Every parent wondered if their child could be next. The search for Maddie had begun, but the darkness that fell over Lakewood would only deepen. The community braced itself for answers it wasn't sure it wanted to hear. The question on everyone's mind: how could a child disappear without a trace? The mystery was as chilling as it was heartbreaking. The answer would haunt the community forever, leaving scars that would never fully heal. Lakewood was once a place of unlocked doors and easy trust. Neighbors waved from their porches, children played freely until dusk, and the sense of safety was woven into daily life. It was the kind of community where everyone knew each other's names and worries rarely lingered. Maddie's disappearance changed everything overnight. The tranquility shattered, replaced by a heavy, unspoken anxiety that settled over every home. Fear replaced comfort. Every shadow seemed threatening. The familiar streets now felt foreign, and every unfamiliar car or passerby drew suspicious eyes. Parents kept their children close, doors were locked tight, playdates were canceled, and laughter was replaced by whispered warnings. But the community rallied, united by a desperate hope to find Maddie. Neighbors who had only exchanged pleasantries now stood shoulder to shoulder, determined to help. Hundreds volunteered, searching parks, woods, and ditches. Day after day they combed every corner, refusing to give up. Flyers with Maddie's face appeared everywhere. Her smile became a haunting reminder of what was lost, and what everyone was fighting to recover. The police command center buzzed with activity, hope mingling with dread. Officers worked around the clock, following every lead, no matter how small. Among the searchers was Joshua Phillips, a quiet 14-year-old neighbor. He seemed eager to help, always present but never drawing attention. He handed out flyers, joined search parties, and blended in. To everyone, he was just another concerned face in the crowd. No one suspected him, he was just another concerned resident. His quiet demeanor drew no suspicion, and he moved among the volunteers unnoticed. In hindsight, his presence was chilling, a mask hiding a terrible secret. The truth, when it emerged, would shock everyone who thought they knew him. The neighborhood's unity was tested, but suspicion and fear lingered. Trust was fragile, and every interaction was tinged with uncertainty. The search for Maddie became a citywide mission. Streets once filled with laughter now echoed with the footsteps of searchers and the hum of patrol cars. But the real horror was closer than anyone imagined, lurking behind the very doors they thought were safest. Days blurred together, each one indistinguishable from the last, as the Cliftons clung to hope and routine in a world that no longer made sense. What should have been a normal week became a relentless stretch of agony for the Cliftons, every hour stretching endlessly. The search for Maddie exploded in scale. FBI agents swarmed the neighborhood, helicopters circled overhead, search dogs sniffed every corner, and thousands of volunteers combed the streets, desperate for any sign. Every inch of the neighborhood was combed, from backyards to alleyways, but not a single clue surfaced. Police interviewed neighbors, chased every possible lead, and knocked on every door. Still, nothing broke the silence. Maddie's face was everywhere, on posters, on the news, in the hearts of everyone watching. But hope faded as the days passed and tips dried up. The Phillips family, living just a few doors away, was questioned by police, but their home was never searched thoroughly. Joshua, the Phillips' son, was even seen helping put up missing posters and joining the search, never arousing suspicion. All the while, the answer to the mystery was just feet away, hidden in plain sight behind a closed door. As the days dragged on, the community's energy turned to exhaustion and dread, hope replaced by a heavy sense of fear. Yellow ribbons, once bright symbols of hope, wilted on trees and mailboxes, their color fading with each passing day. The question on everyone's lips shifted from "Where is Maddie?" to the more haunting "What happened to Maddie?" as the days slipped by. The city waited in uneasy silence, bracing for the worst, as a sense of collective grief settled over the community. The week dragged on, each day heavier than the last, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on everyone. When the truth finally emerged, it would be more horrific than anyone could have ever imagined, shattering the fragile hope that remained. The entire city held its breath, united in fear and prayer, longing for a miracle that, heartbreakingly, would never come. 1 week after Maddie vanished, the search ended in horror. The discovery came not in the woods, but inside the Phillips home, just steps from Maddie's house. Joshua's mother, Melissa, noticed a strange odor and a leaking waterbed. Investigating, she found Maddie's body hidden beneath the bed. Her screams shattered the neighborhood's fragile hope. Police swarmed the house. The community was devastated. Joshua was removed from school and brought in for questioning. The boy who had searched for Maddie was now the prime suspect. The nightmare had a face, and it was someone they all knew. In the interrogation room, Joshua Phillips confessed. He said he'd accidentally hit Maddie with a baseball, panicked, and dragged her inside. Fearing his abusive father's reaction, he struck Maddie with a bat, then stabbed her. He hid her body under his bed, living above it for a week while joining the search. His calm recounting disturbed investigators. Was it panic or something darker? The defense claimed fear drove his actions. Prosecutors saw calculated brutality. Motive was debated, but the outcome was the same. A child's life stolen, a community shattered. The boy next door was not who he seemed. The truth was more chilling than anyone could have imagined. Joshua Phillips, just 14, was tried as an adult for first-degree murder. The trial gripped the nation, not over guilt, but over motive and responsibility. Prosecutors detailed the brutality and Joshua's calculated cover-up. The defense painted him as a terrified boy, not a monster. The jury was unmoved. Joshua was found guilty. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. The verdict brought justice, but also raised questions about juvenile punishment. Was it right to condemn a child to die in prison? The debate over juvenile justice would continue for years. For the Cliftons, the legal battle was over, but their pain remained. The Cliftons' loss was immeasurable. Legal closure could never heal their pain. They turned grief into advocacy, creating Maddie's Place to help child victims. Their work honored Maddie's memory and aimed to protect others. Years later, changes in juvenile sentencing laws brought Joshua back to court. The Cliftons faced him again, reliving their trauma. Joshua apologized, claiming rehabilitation, but was sentenced to life with a chance for review. For the Cliftons, it was a partial victory, justice, but no true peace. Their fight for Maddie became a lifelong mission. The wounds never fully healed. Their daughter's memory lived on in their advocacy and in the hearts of all who remembered her. Maddie Clifton's murder shattered illusions of safety everywhere. Communities became more vigilant, parents more protective. Law enforcement learned hard lessons about thoroughness. The case fueled debate about juvenile crime and justice. Was a child killer a monster or a broken child? Maddie's legacy endures, in advocacy, in law, and in the memory of a nation. Lakewood's scar remains, a reminder that tragedy can strike anywhere. The laughter of children continues, but now under watchful eyes, forever changed.